So, the YNW Melly case, right? We covered that. And so the YNW Melly case was set to begin the next trial, the retrial next week. The defense submitted some paperwork, some requests, and it led to a hearing today. And the hearing today was wild. Like, it was so crazy. The prosecution or the state was raising their voice, essentially yelling and arguing with the judge about the topic of concern in the court. And
what, the prosecution was yelling at the judge?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, I think some could classify it yelling. He interrupted the judge multiple times and was very clearly very frustrated. And then the judge, surprisingly, didn't snap back at the prosecution, but turned to the defense and snapped at them, because one of the key witnesses in this concern wasn't there in court. And the judge is like, what the heck are you doing, man? She's a part of this thing. Why isn't she here? Get her here, you know? And they went to recess while the defense got her there. But
typically what I do when I have a Brady, there's some issue about it, the prosecutor who's involved in it tells me, she comes in here, she's got an obligation of candor to the court, and I ask her a question and she advises me as to what's going on and why there's a change, why something like that. But she's not here. This is her case. We spent 2 or 3 months trying the case originally. It came to a hung jury, but she's not here for this. I don't understand that. Forgive me, I don't understand it. It's her case. She's supposed to be here. These allegations are very serious, and they include her, include allegations of her, and I don't see her in the courtroom.
Well, I can
explain it to
the court wants her here as the lead counsel and on the case.
I would think she'd want to be here.
Pardon?
I would think she'd want to be here.
Well, having been issued subpoenas, I think there's more of a basic difference versus her just being here in order to the lead prosecutor in the case.
How is it? How does it make it different? She's the one who signed 3 different Brady notices, and they're different. How is that she doesn't think she should be here for this hearing when they're asking to recuse her as well as your office from trying the case, and she's not here? Forgive me, I don't understand it. Why don't you find out where she's at? Make a phone call. We'll take a recess. Make a phone call, find out where she's at. I don't understand it.
What are we talking about? So the lawyers for YNW Melly openly accused the Broward State's Attorney's Office for committing felony obstruction of justice by withholding a crucial allegation that the lead detective in the Melly double murder case was willing to lie as he gathered evidence related to the case.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I mean, the evidence is there. The witness that they're talking about is from the Broward State's Attorney's Office.
So do we know who the witness is?
I mean, yeah, the witness ended up going on the stand. Who it is isn't really important. The fact that they're from Broward State's Attorney's Office, who is the prosecution, is the important part. The name isn't important, but there were multiple people at Melly's mom's house, okay, which is out of the jurisdiction of the Broward State Police, I believe, and they started conducting the search and the search warrant without an officer from that jurisdiction there, and that is not allowed to happen. There was a lawyer in the room. There was a representative from the state's attorney's office there, which is the eyewitness that I'm talking about, and the officer started it, and Melly's mom said that he was too rough, that it shouldn't have gone down like that, to grab her phone, and then brought up the fact that it was an illegal search. The cop, once the other trooper or police officer for that jurisdiction got there, he said, "Hey, I need you to say that you were here when I took this." In front of everybody. They're trying to say it was a joke. The officer that said it is saying that that didn't happen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is
Insane.
horrible.
The YNW Melly case is already insane. So the defense, rightfully so here. So for you guys watching, I don't care if you think he's guilty. I don't care if you think he's not. None of that's important. What's important is that we have a justice system that we can depend on and trust in. And a situation like that isn't giving us this. And then what's interesting, okay, and I do feel like there's some worth there, is they slap new charges on them, witness tampering, or jury tampering. I'm sorry, jury tampering. And the defense attorney is like, yeah, they're doing that because we brought this up.
How are they saying that the defense tampered with the jury?
You should watch the video. We already went over that in the Melly video. But that's not even important to this case. So
Okay.
What's important is the fact that they slapped that on in response to the defense bringing up this real evidence.
It's just tit for tat.
It is tit for tat. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
So the evidence against the jury tampering is not strong. It's not going to stick. It's really just to cause more problems. All they're saying is that based on eyewitness accounts, Melly used other phone cards and other prisoners to control a gang member on the outside to tamper with the jury and evidence. So it wasn't jury tampering. I'm sorry. I know I flip-flopped that twice. I'm just sitting here remembering with my ADHD, but it was witness. The state had an eyewitness that they were going to call up that ended up backing out, and the state is saying that Melly didn't instruct somebody to do the witness tampering himself. He had someone else do it. Okay. You're never going to get that to stick. There's not going to be evidence for that.
I mean, there could be if they had text messages or something, but...
No. He's been in jail the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying using other people's jail cards.
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah. I mean, I feel like after I listened to the ex-girlfriend's mother talk about her experience with the prosecution, it really solidified the BS in that trial for me. Like,
I agree.
Everything, she's literally wearing an ankle monitor because of them.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on.
There is. And if he's truly guilty, I just have such a hard time with this. Do I think it's possible he's guilty? Absolutely, I think it's possible he's guilty.
It's just hard for me to keep up with it so much, to be honest. But I don't think the guilt matters when you're dealing with corruption that way. Like, if you
have no idea, then you can't even tell.
Yeah,
who's guilty and innocent.
If the prosecution or anybody, law enforcement, does something shady to sway the evidence to look like it's against this person, once they've done that, they have screwed everything up. They've made the case worse than it would have ever been if they had not done that.
I agree.
Like, when you start doing that, you're risking it all at that point. You're risking them not going to prison. So what is the point?
Yeah. No, the best way, like what I think about it when I see a case that has like some questionable things going on, or police didn't handle evidence right, or chain of custody wasn't handled right, or any of those normal things that we see a lot, it's like a split alternate reality, and as we move forward, even though that mistake happened back here, we're just getting further and further and further away from the truth.
Exactly.
And it gets to a point now where I think there's great evidence that he could be guilty, but because I'm seeing situations that aren't being handled fairly, I'm questioning everything. I have no idea now. How am I supposed to believe the true evidence, the real evidence, the him walking around the car, being there for, quite 30 minutes, 45 minutes to stage, like the prosecution is saying, after the crime had occurred. How are we supposed to believe any of that when we're shown that it's being manipulated in other areas?
I feel like that's honestly what's happened in the Koberger case.
It's happened in a lot lately.
The gag order, and then the things that made us question it because it looked like law enforcement wasn't doing things right. They were being super secretive to the point that it wasn't helpful.
Yes.
Okay.
Agreed.
They went back on things they said, like saying everybody's safe, and then, well, actually, we don't even know for real. Like, we don't know.
Yeah.
Changing the dates of the car. Like, there's so many things that you begin to be like, can I really trust any of their supposed evidence?
Yeah, and there's always little things, okay? I just want to be clear with this. So we understand humans make mistakes, and I get it, and I'm okay with it. And I also understand that people and police will make huge mistakes where they have to be held accountable, maybe suspended for a while. And that's part of the game. That's part of being a human being, and I get that. But in these situations, you don't try and hide it and sweep it under a rug and continue moving forward to point fingers at who did it. That creates doubt, that creates distrust, that creates major issues in every single case. And just like this YNW Melly case, I don't know what to think now. I have no clue because I don't feel like people are being honest here. And then in these situations too, if I'm a defense attorney, okay, and I'm defending someone that is being mistreated and the law is being abused and manipulated against them, I myself would have a very hard time not returning the tactics to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then the whole case is just a pile.
Well, that's what's going on here. The tit for tat, this is regressed into, I don't know, politics.
I mean, not really.
High school politics.
I mean, maybe local there, just based on like perception of people because of Melly's image. But like going back to the original issue here, if the cop took her phone and was too rough and did it without having the proper police officer there, that's a problem. Unfortunately, that phone cannot be used or shouldn't be able to be used, or something else happen and get a new search warrant and get the phone now. Like, there's ways to manage that, and sweeping it under the rug and pretending like it didn't happen is not the way to do it.
No. It's not.
So, I would love to know what you guys think about it. The YNW Melly case just drives me crazy, man. It drives me nuts from the second I started watching it.
Yeah.
Just the prosecution trying to say that, and again, I understand Melly could be guilty, but that doesn't mean that you lie and use untrustworthy tactics. But saying that he's guilty because he dresses a certain way, oh, I have such a hard time with that, you guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
No kidding.
A certain type of dress does not mean innocence or guilt.
Absolutely not.
But let us know what you think.